Welcome to our English news coming to you from Canal Algérie. First, the top stories of the news. Important decisions are announced by the President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, National Defense Minister, while chairing a meeting devoted to the transport sector. Citizens highly appreciate these decisions likely to improve the transport sector and the relevant services. The African Union hails the key role played by the President of the Republic, being the coordinator of the organization in terms of fighting terrorism and extremism. And Algiers International Airport is ready to welcome delegations taking part in the Intra-African Trade Fair to be shortly hosted by our country. Welcome back. First in our news, the President of the Republic, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, National Defense Minister Abdelmajid Tebboune chaired on Tuesday a meeting devoted to the transport sector. At the outset of the meeting, a vibrant tribute was paid to the victims of this bus accident, which revealed several shortcomings. After deep debate and discussions, several decisions were announced. First, the immediate import of 10,000 new buses to replace outdated ones under the aegis of the Industry Ministry. The immediate import of all types of vehicle tyres. New traffic legislation to be introduced, including tougher rules for issuing driving licenses, to be submitted to the upcoming Council of Ministers meeting. For the first time, responsibility for accidents will be extended to include road maintenance authorities, driving schools, technical control bodies and other parties involved in this accident. Drivers will be subject to regular checkups and tests. The National Gendarmerie and Security Forces will tighten nationwide surveillance to strictly enforce the traffic code and curb with the road-related deadly accidents. The meeting was attended by senior officials, including the Army General Said Chingriha, Minister Delegate to the National Defense Minister, the PNA Chief of Staff, the Private Principal Secretary to the Presidency, Boualam Boualam, in addition to Ministers of Interior, Justice, Finance, Transport, Industry, Health and Public Works. The advisor in charge of the General Communication Directorate at the Presidency, the Commander of the National Gendarmerie, the General Manager of the National Security, the Central Director of Military Industry and the Civil Defense General Manager were also present during this meeting. And following these important decisions relating to the transport, citizens commanded this move likely to secure better services to them. Let's have a listen to them.
لصدر رئيس الجمهورية عن استيراد حافلات بهذا الضرب ناخذوا نجدوا الحظيرة تاعنا اللي راح دوك الكيران تاعنا.
باللي رئيس الجمهورية في المجال تاع استيراد حوالي 10,000 حافلة، وكاين حتى استيراد تاع حلوا السوق تاع عجلات المطاطية، وهذا خبر مفرح وراح يؤدي خدمة كبيرة.
ماذا بينا نخدموا في جديد فرمل وبرير مليح، يساعدنا في اللومبان، يساعدنا في كي تبدا نعفسه نعمل البياس تاعو قادر تشكي فهمت.
قرار في محله، خاطر عندنا مده وحنا نعانوا من البنوات لا بريبار حابسين.
To another story now, the African Union's Peace and Security Council, led by Algeria, has for the first time endorsed the mandate of its counter-terrorism and post-conflict reconstruction committees, a key step towards a continental strategy for security and development. Melissa Lila Balaman tells us more.
The African Union Peace and Security Council, under Algeria's leadership, has set out a roadmap for security and development on the continent by adopting the terms of reference for its two subcommittees on counter-terrorism and post-conflict reconstruction and development. The move marks a significant step forward in the Council's work, as it is the first time that the mandates of the Counter-Terrorism Committee and the Post-Conflict Reconstruction Committee have been formally endorsed. In a clear acknowledgement, the African African Union praised the leadership, wisdom, and active role of President Abdelmadjid Tebboune, the African Union's coordinator on counterterrorism and violent extremism. The Council also called on the African Union Commission to intensify its efforts to ensure full implementation of the recommendations adopted by the African Union Summit of Heads of State and Government. As a concrete and decisive step, the Council emphasized the need for the immediate activation of these terms of reference and urged member states to strengthen cooperation with both subcommittees so they can carry out their missions effectively. It further tasked the two bodies with providing direct support to member states affected by terrorism and extremism through capacity building and enhanced regional cooperation, while assisting post-conflict countries in restoring governance institutions, reinforcing the rule of law, and achieving social and economic stability, objectives aligned with the African Union's 2026 agenda.
To a related story now, and as the Inter-African Trade Fair approaches, Algiers Airport has put in place special arrangements from medical facilities to fast-track services to guarantee delegates to a smooth and welcoming arrival. Melissa Lila Balaman once again.
Algiers International Airport is fully prepared to welcome participants of the Intra-African Trade Fair. The airport authority has taken special measures to ensure smooth arrivals, including an advanced medical center, a dedicated fast-track corridor for official delegations, and streamlined procedures at border control and customs. The aim is to deliver seamless logistics and showcase Algeria as a modern gateway to the continent.
Nous avons mobilisé et de la ressource humaine.
We've reinforced staffing, bringing in language-skilled students on holiday to assist delegations. A proper VIP lounge has been set up for those waiting for baggage. We've also introduced smart air-conditioned bus shelters with Wi-Fi and AI, and we're preparing to launch Wi-Fi 7 in the arrivals area so business leaders can keep working in optimal conditions.
P7 au niveau des arrivées pour permettre à ces hommes d'affaires, à ces VIP, de continuer à travailler dans de meilleures conditions.
Multilingual teams are on hand to guide delegations, while exclusive lounges designed for the occasion provide a refined, functional space that meets international protocol standards, reflecting both the event's significance and Algeria's tradition of hospitality.
On doit travailler d'une façon proactive pour s'adapter d'abord.
Preparing for the IATF is vital for Algeria. The country holds an important place in Africa, and interest in Algerian trade and products continues to grow worldwide. Success depends above all on the reception. A warm welcome sets the tone. And for most visitors, that begins at Algiers Airport, the country's main gateway.
Les investisseurs s'intéressent, le commerce algérien intéresse tout le monde.
The first participants are already arriving for this high-profile gathering. More than just a trade fair, the IATF is positioned as a strategic platform to boost economic integration and cooperation across Africa, while strengthening Algeria's role as a key player in continental partnerships.
Algeria getting ready for a key African event. The Sahara cause is gaining ground with several initiatives and meetings meant to back this fair and legitimate cause despite the Moroccan maneuvers to isolate Western Sahara, both regionally and internationally. More details in the following report. In his latest report, Secretary General Antonio Guterres once again reaffirmed the legitimacy of the Sahrawi cause. The stance was warmly welcomed during the 7th diplomatic forum of solidarity with the Sahrawi people held at the South African Embassy here in Algiers, where participants reiterated their unwavering support for the Sahrawi people's right to self-determination. Participants commended the signing of a memorandum of understanding between the South African Development Bank and the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic. The forum also emphasized the significant participation of the Sahrawi Arab Democratic Republic at the TICAD summit recently held in Yokohama, Japan. The Sahrawi issue has clearly regained a prominent place on the international agenda, addressed in its legal and legitimate dimensions. It is in this context that the latest report of the UN Secretary General provides renewed momentum to the cause on the international stage. The Sahrawi struggle continues to assert itself as both legitimate and just, attracting growing international solidarity, particularly among intellectuals and human rights defenders. Many have drawn parallels between Morocco's occupation and that of the Zionist entity, both rooted in illegal expansionist strategies. Driven by the expansionist ambitions of the Makhzen, Moroccan policy openly defies international law and exposes the region to new sources of conflict, increasing tensions and threatening strategic and security stability. Despite repeated violations and maneuvers by the Moroccan occupation, its attempts continue to fail, leaving it increasingly isolated. Meanwhile, the Sahrawi cause, strengthened by its diplomatic and political achievements, continues its determined march toward self-determination. And from Western Sahara to the Middle East region, genocide continues in Palestine with the killing of 20 people, including journalists. In the meantime, hospitals are still targeted by the Zionist war machinery, despite the UN condemnation, which called for an immediate and impartial investigation. Several countries, such as the United Kingdom, Switzerland, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, urged the necessity to protect civilians and newsmen who are subject to deliberate attacks to hide the cruel truth on the ground, according to the human rights organizations. François Bayrou faces the toughest test of his career with a confidence vote on September the 8th that could determine the fate of his government and plunge France deeper into political turmoil. Melissa Lila Balaman with more details.
François Bayrou and his government may be down to their final days. Attention is now fixed on the September 8th confidence vote, a make-or-break moment. Whether the French Prime Minister can gather enough support to survive remains in serious doubt. Bayrou is weathering the fiercest political storm of his career since moving into Matignon. His austerity plan, marked by deep spending cuts, a high-rent freeze, and major reductions in social programs, has sparked outrage across the spectrum. With parts of his own majority turning away, he is caught between a combative left and a far right, seizing on the climate of social unrest, hoping to capture disoriented electorate and present itself as the only alternative to a policy seen as both harsh and uncompromising.
Nous avons François Bayrou.
Bayrou has effectively chosen his own downfall. He knew September 23rd would seal his fate, and with a mass mobilization building for September 10th, he preferred to set the date of his exit himself.
Préfère choisir lui-même sa date de départ.
Aujourd'hui, il faut se mobiliser.
It's time to act. We need to unite around immediate censure and spare the country weeks of pretending. Bayrou will suddenly change course. Coherence and consistency demand one thing, that censure be voted without delay.
Il faut être conséquent, et ça passe par le fait que la censure soit immédiatement votée.
Already the target of 8 no-confidence motions, the Prime Minister faces a 9th on September 23rd. Isolated on the political chessboard, his survival is at stake. Should the September 8th test go against him, he could be forced to leave Matignon. Deserted by a majority he can no longer hold together.
Je veux l'ordre républicain.
Republican order means this. If you disagree with the government, you either force it to change or you bring it down. Bayrou cannot change. The socialists deluded themselves into thinking they could work with him. He misleads everyone, so we will bring him down.
Qui pouvait s'entendre avec lui, il trompe tout le monde. Eh bien, donc, nous allons le faire tomber.
We must show that such inequality in the distribution of wealth is unacceptable. Who creates the country's wealth? The workers.
Les travailleurs.
The government's collapse would be a political earthquake in a country already shaken by dysfunction, public anger, and a far-right eager for its chance. Beyond Bayrou's personal fate, it is the broader climate of instability that haunts France after months of demonstrations, divisions, and social unrest. The nation now faces the risk of paralysis, with instability lurking in the shadows.
Lila Balaman reporting on the domestic crisis in France. With this, we come to the end of our news bulletin. Tomorrow, another day, other news. Keep tuning to our channel. Take care. Bye-bye.